A number of Democratic lawmakers are expected tonight to bring recently fired federal workers to President Trump's joint address to Congress in an attempt to highlight the sweeping cuts made by Elon Musk and his Doge team. Musk will be there as well tonight. Let's bring in Democratic Congressman Richie Torres of New York and one of his constituents who will be the congressman's guest tonight, former USAID employee Nancy Bolen. She was fired on January 28th from her position as a senior health advisor. She spent more than 25 years saving the lives of mothers and newborn babies. Good morning to you both. It is so great to have you with us. Nancy, I want to start with you, and if you could just talk a little bit about the work you've been doing for so many years and how you got the news that you'd been fired.
Absolutely. Thank you. I've spent my whole career working to save mothers and babies, both in the United States, in New York City, in the Bronx, and then working for USAID for about 6 years in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and in Washington. And it was a privilege. It was an honor. I worked along really good, kind, smart people who had dedicated their careers to making the world a better place for mothers and babies and families. And so we worked, I was specifically working on newborn health, and newborn health is very dire in the world. About 6,000 newborn babies die every day throughout the world, and about 800 mothers. And you can imagine, the impact on families when the mothers die. And most of this mortality is preventable. But thankfully, USAID was able to save about 7.4 million lives in the past 10 years through their work to save mothers and children. And we were very happy doing this work, and we hope that the administration will reconsider and lift the frozen funds, the freeze on the funds, so that this life-saving work can continue.
Congressman, one of the most depressing things over the last couple of weeks has been the degree to which workers of USAID, like Nancy, have been demonized by the administration, being called worms by the administration, when, as she says, they're out there saving lives, which, as a visitor to this country, I firmly believe Americans want to do good around the world. I really do. I see it time and again, how kind people are, how welcoming people are. And yet there's a memo out that was in the New York Times, reported from USAID. 18 million additional cases of malaria, 200,000 children will be paralyzed with polio annually, 1 million children won't be treated for severe malnutrition. Why are these stories of what USAID does and what will happen to children around the world where Nancy's work can't be done? Why do you think they aren't out there more around the country? Why are people not hearing these stories more?
Donald Trump has been flooding the zone, with executive orders, but what we're witnessing is a senseless and cruel assault on the federal workforce. USAID has been on the front lines of combating disease and poverty and starvation and terrorism and violence. And even though it's done an enormous amount of good for an enormous number of people, you have Elon Musk demonizing the whole organization as a, quote, criminal organization. He's treating federal workers like Nancy Bolen not as human beings, but as objects to be discarded. And so there's something profoundly cruel and callous and dehumanizing about the manner in which Doge is robbing public servants like Nancy of their livelihood and robbing the world of a vital public service. And there's a false narrative out there that the United States has no vested interest in foreign aid. When it comes to public health, what happens in a foreign country does not stay in a foreign country. Right?
Ebola,
COVID,
avian flu, COVID, we have lots of examples.
Mpox, which began in Africa, ultimately spread to the United States, and in 2022, we saw the outbreak of Mpox lead to 30,000 cases of infection here in the United States. So we in the United States may wish to escape the world, but the world is not going to escape us.
As America keeps learning time and time again. Nancy, we did hear Elon Musk in the cabinet meeting last week say, OK, well, if we make mistakes, we'll fix it. For example, when we shut down the funding of USAID, we inadvertently shut down funding on Ebola research and prevention as well. But we fixed that. We fixed that. And there's been no glitch in the system. Is it your understanding that that's the case? And the same was also said of HIV treatments. Have they reversed some of what they originally shut down or not?
Our understanding, especially related to information that came out yesterday documents that document the impact of these funding cuts already is that they have not been reversed, and that even if there was some intent to reverse based on Marco Rubio's waiver for the life-saving humanitarian aid, that they have not been reversed because the programs that executed the strategies have been stopped. So PEPFAR is a program that saved 25 million lives, and about 20 million people are dependent on those drugs. So our understanding is that it has not been reversed.
So what Elon Musk said in the cabinet meeting was not actually true. Congressman, do any of your colleagues up on the Hill, on the Republican side, express to you in private any concerns about what might happen to America's standing around the world, how China might break in, what might happen to some of the children who might die because of these cuts?
Look, I sense that Republicans express private concerns, but publicly, all of them show nothing but absolute obedience to Donald Trump. You know, we no longer have a normal two-party system. The Republican Party has become a cult of personality around Donald Trump. And one gets the impression that just about every congressional Republican lives in fear of Donald Trump and refuses to cross him and are willing to cede. For me, most of what we're seeing is not about Democrat versus Republican. It's about the executive versus the legislature. You know, congressional Republicans are willing to cede congressional power to Donald Trump to an extent that we've never seen before. I mean, Donald Trump claims he has the authority to defund agencies that have been expressly authorized by Congress.
And again, many of your colleagues, Congressman, are constitutional lawyers who are willing to allow this to happen. Democratic Congressman Richie Torres of New York and former USAID Senior Newborn Health Advisor Nancy Boland. Thank you both. And Nancy, thank you for your lifetime of work. We certainly hope you can get back to it as soon as possible.